Que pasa, amigos? Bienvenidos to the Martian and Ozzy podcast. We are back this week with the UFC card going down in Mexico City, Mexico this weekend. 13 fights featuring a slew of Mexican fighters. And we're joined by our Hispanic resident himself, Ozzy. How we doing this week, my man?
That's right. Hola, amigos. I like how you didn't say a posse of Mexicans. Shout out Phil Jackson for my Nick fans. So yeah, we had a coming off that pay-per-view card. It was I enjoyed it. Some people, I don't know, some people are saying they didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed it. Some good live opportunities. Ended on a sour note personally, but congrats to a fellow Spanish speaker, Ilia Taforia. Amazing win. I thought the read was pretty good. When I was watching the fight, I did think that Volkanovski won the first round, even though some people were, it was debated a little bit. Judges did have it for him. And I did feel that, the fight potentially was getting a little bit away from Ilia Taforia, but then he just fired off, that kind of those hands that he's going to be known for when he, goes into UFC Hall of Fame probably one day. But it was an awesome performance by him. He stayed in there, and it was sad to see Volk go out so viciously. What did you think?
Yeah, obviously the main event was a bummer. I mean, Taporia, got the job done. Looked. He was losing the fight, but he also was, I think, looking good throughout as well. Like he
Yeah, he
wasn't
was
just
doing good.
praising himself.
Yeah.
But the card did have 11 favorites. I think Taporia was the only dog. And a lot of just like the most predicted outcomes. A lot of the people, Marab, Maverick, Gary,
Fluffy by
Whitaker,
submission.
they
Fluffy
were, yeah.
submission. We said that.
But those 4 fighters I just mentioned, the decision method was their most likely way of winning, and it happened. So I feel like a lot
So
of the
was
fights just
fluffy. So was fluffy
that is true.
submission.
Um, so there was some okay moments, but overall, I just think it wasn't like that surprising of a card. Vulcan, obviously, the main event, Ilya, was surprising, but up until that
You're
point, I
such a
don't.
WWE fan. Oh, surprising.
Yeah, yeah,
But
exactly.
bro, it's not scripted. It's not. They're not all gonna be surprising.
Well, that's what
You.
I'm saying. Is these ones went to the script? It was a little too scripted.
It didn't go to the script, bro. Just because it
But
was a
here's a good thing
favorite
though,
doesn't
Ozzy.
mean that it was to the script.
Good thing.
If
Good thing.
Go ahead, go ahead.
So the last Mexico card, right? The Mexico card in Vegas, that one went pre-script. It went to the script. Most of the Mexican
It
fighters won.
wasn't in Mexico.
Bro, I know. I said it was in Vegas. And then Grasso got her lucky draw. They even phoned in a fucking favor to not have Alexa lose in the main event.
Alexa won.
No, she didn't, bro. It was a fucking draw.
She won that fight.
Anyway, so what happened with the Canada card is the last Canada or 2 Canada cards ago, all the Canadian fighters won, and then this most recent one, I don't think a lot of them won. I think MAB lost,
No, they
a
all
bunch of them
lost.
lost. Yeah,
They all
exactly.
lost.
And the card stunk. It was no good. The whole
So that's
card
what's
was.
gonna happen here.
Yeah. So we're due for some
But but
some
but but
variants.
but, but what if the UFC saw the response to that and how like friends of ours like Chad, they were so. I mean, that guy. I think he drank. He didn't do any spaces. I don't know. He was distraught. I feel, but it crushed the MMA fanhood of so
Mm,
many Canadians. So don't you
true.
think they would see that and they're like, we don't want that to happen. We're doing this fear the Mexican independence. So how
Yeah.
do you like them apples?
No,
You didn't think
you're right.
about
I
that,
mean,
did
I
you?
think I think the fact that this card's
We
actually
hate
in
Canada,
Mexico.
dude. We hate Canada, America, TKO, Ari Emanuel, freaking Jimmy Kimmel.
That's enough about last week. We're getting into 13
Yeah.
fights,
Oh,
2 5 rounders,
oh,
decent card top to
oh.
bottom. So we're
Is this
starting
gonna
things off.
be the new thing, dude? New 5 rounders, two of
I'm
them.
with
Put
it.
them on.
Sign
Let's
it up.
do it. Come
Uh,
on.
top of the card,
Pay the extra
2
money.
top
Come
of the
on.
card, 2 rematches. There's actually 3 rematches on this entire card, but
Oh
um
Jesus. Hey, and
Brent
and for everybody talking about 135 being what Robert Whitaker versus what do you like better? Robert Whitaker versus Vitor or whoever the hell
Costa.
he fought. Or that 135 or the Marab fight. Come on, dude. Come on, boys. Come on.
That was
It's no
true. That was a good one, yeah.
question. No brainer.
Okay, let's get started.
Okay, okay,
The
okay.
battle of the Brandons. Brandon
Okay, okay.
Moreno, Brandon Royval. Odds for this one have
Hmm.
Moreno minus 290, Royval plus
Hmm.
245. So
Hmm.
uh, we saw this fight the first time back at the end of 2020. Kind of a weird fight. Moreno's out grappling Royval. Royval hurts his shoulder, starts crying in agony, and it's a TKO. The fight is over. In that fight, I was just rewatching it. I noticed how easy it was for Brandon Moreno to take Royval down and to control him, honestly. I mean, Royval is his takedown defense has always sucked, but after he gets on the ground, he gets controlled easily. He gives up his back. We clearly saw that in the Pantoja fight, the rematch, that he was like, okay, I got rear naked choked in the first fight. I'm going to lay flat on my back as much as I can. I don't want to get my back taken. I don't want to get choked out. And that led to him just laying on his back for 20 minutes straight and getting destroyed there. So it's interesting to see what he's going to do here once he gets taken down, and there will be takedowns. How is he going to react? Is he going to do the same thing and just be content to lay there, or is he going to try to get up and give up his back? I lean the latter. I think he's going to be like losing that fight. That last fight to Pantoja did nothing for me. I lost by decision, big whoop. But I think this time he's going to be like, let me actually try to get the fuck up. This fight is a little bit short notice for him as well. It was supposed to be Albazi. So I think Royval is going to come in with a little more reckless of an attitude, and let's hope so because that Pantoja fight just wasn't exciting. And on the feet, man, I think it is going to be close because Royval he pumps out nonstop volume, but his defense is also bad. His chin is not good. I mean, fucking Matt Schnell dropped him bad in his fight, so I think Moreno's going to win the fight pretty comfortably. I just don't see, Royval winning this one. I think it's probably going to have to be a knockout if Royval wants to win. Definitely don't think Royval can win a decision here. So I think Moreno won't have too much trouble and will eventually find a finish in maybe the second or third round. And it's a bummer we lost out on Albazi versus Moreno. We're getting a rematch here. Not the worst late notice fight, but I'm not looking forward to it really. So, uh, any thoughts here?
I very much do not like Brandon Royval as a fighter. I'm not interested in his fights. I feel like, honestly, I'm not trying to drag him, but fights like his are why people watch the 125ers and they're like, I'm not interested because some of the little shots that he was throwing against Pantoja in that fifth round, they were just pathetic. It was just like Pantoja was absolutely gassed. Royval was gassed, even though for the most part, like I'm not saying he didn't do anything, but he was just getting controlled for good bits of that fight where he was whether it be the guy had his back taken, whatever. And he's a 125er. And then, he's landing on Pantoja and like it literally the only reason Pantoja was kind of like bobbing around was because he needed oxygen. It was not because Brandon Royval was hitting him hard. And then you see DDP versus Strickland, and these dudes are throwing down the fifth round. So I don't know. Honestly, you know why it is, Martian, because no male, adult age male should be 125 pounds, bro. It should not be the case. It's true. It's the truth, dude. And even in 1FC, bro, they don't do 125, dude. They do the hydration test, and those guys are like 140 pounders or something
They
like
used to
that.
have
So
atom weight though, I think for men's. They used to have like or no, no,
that was your weight
straw weight.
class, right? Yeah, that was
Straw
your
weight.
weight.
They used to have straw weight.
That was your weight class. That was your weight class. Um, but I mean, obviously I think Brandon Moreno should piece him up, take him down when he wants, take his back. The only he's fought in Mexico. Didn't he fight Mexico City? Didn't he fight Sergio Pettis here?
Yeah, he
He's
did.
fought here before. He's got the experience. He's minus 300 for a reason. I would have laid the 270. I think I did. I don't remember. Maybe I parlayed him. Who the hell knows? But I think he's gonna finish him. So he couldn't choke him out though. So that's why you would have to go inside the distance.
Mhm.
But maybe let's go. And the knockout is under 4-1. So inside the distance or under for Brandon Moreno.
Yeah, I agree. ITD is plus 150 out on DraftKings right now. I think it's going to be sub. I think it's going to be a rear naked choke.
It's probably not. It's probably gonna go to decision.
uh, let's hope not. Um, So co-main event time, Yair Rodriguez taking on Brian Ortega, another rematch. Odds for this one, Yair was the favorite minus 146, Ortega plus 126. Just some context, the last time these guys were booked, July 2022, Ortega closed near 2-1. He was minus 190 at close in that fight. 185, whatever. But pretty big flip in the line here. The line's totally flipped. Give us your thoughts on how the first fight went and your opinion on the odds being flipped here in the rematch.
Speaking of line flip, you remember we were talking about Bader versus Henan, and it's a pick 'em now. Oh. That's another fight coming up this week, right? Is that this week or next? That's
Yeah.
this week. Yeah, cool. And Yoel, nice. Okay, yeah. So the first fight came out, and Yair, he was kind of landing a lot of those jab crosses, and Ortega's reaction time just looks bad to me. And but he does not get dissuaded very much. He's kind of not really thinking, but I don't really when I see that doesn't make me didn't make me feel confident in his rest of the career. Just because his wrestling has traditionally not been that good. Some of his hands, like when he throws them, like I don't know, he's never really put together that many great performances. I'm a fan for sure, but here, I'm kind of leaning towards the over. I just feel that potentially this fight is gonna go a little bit later. They both need to know that they probably need to keep some of their gas tank conserved. And Yair is just slippery, even if he is taken down and stuff like that or on the ground. He goes into unorthodox positions. I just feel that he'll probably be hard to latch on to some kind of like look last time when he got taken down, he latched onto his arm. But I'm saying he's not posed a threat, and I think it's not going to be easy for Ortega to cut through him. And then on the feet, they're both very durable, and they're kind of friendly too. I'm not saying that they're going to be in a sparring match, but obviously I don't. But like Martian mentioned, it was 4.5 last time. Now it's 2.5. So I'll take the 2.5 for a little sweat, and I would lean towards the Brian Ortega side just because it's plus money. But I would not bet on. I'm not betting on Brian Ortega unless it's a live price. But probably not. I'm gonna just take the over, sit back and relax.
Yeah, I won't spend too much time because I don't have like a concrete read on this fight. I don't think really you can either. I mean, these guys are both so, variable and unpredictable that I think having like a confident opinion on the money line here is a bit foolish. I took some of that Ortega sub plus 360 on FanDuel just because anytime this fight tangles up in the clinch, he can latch onto a guillotine, or if it gets on the floor, obviously he can attack with a varied amount of front chokes, triangles. Um, and I think that eventually at some point in the fight, they are going to tangle up. We saw in the first fight that Yair was, snapping him, snapping punches at him, hitting him with kicks, but Ortega didn't care, man. This guy's so durable to the head. We've seen him take absolute, slaughters from Holloway and Volkanovski. And he could just take damage to the head. So I think if Yair wants to finish him, he's going to have to target the body with one of those big body kicks. But I don't think that's gonna happen, man. I think that Ortega, in typical Ortega fashion, is going to get hit a lot, but he's gonna march through it all. He's gonna find a way to get the fight in his realm, and eventually he's gonna get the fight, in that realm. And I think he probably will find a submission in probably I would say past the second round. I would say maybe the third or the fourth round for Ortega.
Book it, book it.
Yeah, and Ortega sub 345 is plus 850. I also just think Ortega no scorecards is probably good here because I think he's much tougher to finish than Yair. We've seen Yair finished even that Volkanovski fight, man. I mean, he got hurt with it was kind of like a glancing hook. He kind of had like one leg up in the air. He was throwing a kick, and he just didn't provide much resistance once he got finished there. So Yair has never been subbed though.
Choke or submission, choke or submission.
What do you?
Or choke or joint lock.
Oh, I think it'll be like I'm gonna go anaconda.
Yeah, I was
Arm
thinking Darce. I was
arm
thinking Darce.
anaconda comes out the armpit. A's. That's how I always remembered it. I don't know how you remembered it.
Is
I don't know.
is neck to pit, neck to pit is anaconda, and pit to neck is the Darce.
Yeah. All right, moving on to lightweight, and this is actually there's a few lightweight fights on this card, but that's the highest weight class. Not a single fight above 155, which I like. And we have Daniel Zellhuber taking on Francisco Prado. Odds for this one: Zellhuber minus 260, Prado plus 220. My thinking is it's dog or pass here. Both guys are young and improving a lot. I think Prado is actually even younger than Zellhuber, one of the youngest males on the roster. But just watching Zellhuber, he lost round one to Yagos. He had that very confusing performance versus Ogden, where he just didn't really show up to fight at all. So I'm just a little more not quite completely sold. I mean, even had a close fight with Lando at times. Some of those rounds he dropped Lando, I think, in the first round, but those second and third rounds real close. And I just think that Prado is going to take it to him, and he's going to look live here as a 2-to-1 dog. I wouldn't be surprised to see Zellhuber take over late in the fight because he's got more late fight experience than Prado. I think Prado has never won a decision. He's only been to a decision one time, and that was the Malarkey fight where he debuted and lost. So I think that the longer the fight goes, it's probably better for Zellhuber, but I'm just not quite sold enough on the guy to put him above 70%, especially on a young and improving prospect like Prado. I think Prado is skilled on the feet and on the floor, no like glaring weaknesses. So this is a good fight, man. Well matched fight. Two Hispanic guys going at it. The crowd will definitely be behind the Mexican Zellhuber, but I would wait for Zellhuber live probably, and maybe take like some of those late Zellhuber props. Any thoughts for you here?
Did you mention the reach advantage?
I did not, but what is it? 7 inches or something?
It's it's big. It's big is what she told me. She said it's big. Um, so yeah, you got a fight between two South
8 inch.
Americans or 8 inches. Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
whole
that's what
Drake.
she. Yeah. Whoa. Chad's gonna love that one.
Francisco
Um,
Prado was born in 2002, bro.
Good for him, dude. Good for him. I mean, the guy's a good athlete. He's wound up nice and tight. Uh, he's got like real snappy kicks. But I feel that this is a very tough fight for him. It's kind of like a build-up fight for Zellhuber. A hey, look at this little cool other South American dude we have in Prado. But I feel with the reach advantage, the jab, how Zellhuber has a great chin, and then that potentially that I feel that when they lock up the leverage and the experience and wrestling advantage, I feel that Zellhuber will have later, like as the fight goes on, I think is going to be important here. So at least a minus 250, I will say, on Daniel Zellhuber to win this fight.
Yeah, I think live is good, man. The price actually one book, what is this? Unibet has 7-1 on Zellhuber 2 and 13-1 on Zellhuber 3. I think 3 is good. I think Um, if it gets to round 3, Zellhuber should be in control at that point, because he just has so much more experience in the 3rd round, and he just seems like a guy who works into fights as they go on. So
And he will have Coach Eric Nixick in his corner.
that's big.
It
That's
is.
big. One
Eric should be in, Saudi Arabia training Francis, but he was like, you know what? Zellhuber is one of the guys, so I got to be there.
one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the preparation with this, the altitude, it's like what, 7,000 feet altitude. Um, I think most of the Mexican fighters have been there for a while. Some of the guys, the Brazilians on the card, got a little bit of a late notice getting there, so that could be a concern. But um, you do have to keep that in mind. We saw the fighters in Salt Lake City gas out a lot, and now we're at that big elevation, so it's something to consider. So, bantamweight fight next, Raul Rosas Jr., Ricky Turcios. Odds for this one have uh, Rosas as the favorite, minus 210, Tertios plus 180. Good amount of action coming in on Tertios here. Give us your thoughts on this fight.
Don't really care about this fight. I'm gonna be honest with you. Ricky, easy to take down, but once he gets on the ground, I mean, he's not a bad grappler. But I don't really have a great read on this fight. Ricky burned me so bad against Zahabi, dude. How did he? What was that performance? What was it, Martian? I don't know what it was, but it wasn't enough, or it was enough to make me think that the price that is in front of me right now is not enough. So my pick would be Raul Rosas Jr.
Okay, sounds good. Uh, for me in this fight, man, it's tough. I did some
Yeah,
tape
you
on
talking
Tertios.
shit like you got a good pick. Go ahead,
No, 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 I
let's
don't.
hear this analysis.
I don't. I actually had to take my headset off for a second, so I was just kind of like transitioning back
Yeah,
into the mix.
yeah.
So, Tercios before the fight is no good in my opinion, especially at this price. Maybe if you got the 2-1 price, that was fine. But man, just watching Tercios fight, man, this guy is wrestling fucking sucks. I mean, the Brady high stand taking him down over and over again. There's so many positions in that fight where he just made the wrong move and he was in a bad spot and he put himself in a worse spot. Oh, he escapes. He's in a good position, and then he ends right back on bottom, just time and time again. And then he had
Enthusiastically though, he's enthusiastic with it.
And then a little bit of more than a year later, he's fighting Kevin Natividad, who's a worse grappler than Highstand, and he's getting taken down just as easily, making the same mistakes, putting himself in bad positions. He escapes, he doesn't make the most of it, and puts himself right back on bottom. So I just think this guy's wrestling and grappling IQ is pretty bad. And Rosas, that's the one thing he does really good is grapple. And I think that he will do so here, especially early, man. You got to be concerned about Rosas's cardio because we did see him significantly slow down in the Christian Rodriguez fight. Uh, and then before that, the Mando Gutierrez fight, he had some sketchy moments in that fight. He was never in
That's your
he was never in
favorite fight.
trouble.
That's
He
your
was never in
favorite fight.
trouble. Oh, I mean, that was embarrassing from him in all honesty. But
Yeah,
um,
when he was like 15.
well, so he's never been in round 3. Oh, he's been in round 3 2 times, and
And
he's
that
one
was
and
one of
one.
the times.
He beat Mando once, and then he lost to Rodriguez once. So we really have no idea what this guy's cardio is like because we've only seen it twice. And the thing about
It's
him
probably
is
good, honestly. It's
he's
probably
fighting at
good.
135, right? But he's a growing boy. He's 19 years old. At a certain point, the 135 weight class isn't going to work for him anymore, and that weight cut is probably going to be getting really hard for him because he's been
He's training with Marab every day.
well, he's been cutting down to 135. Oh no, he used to actually fight a featherweight apparently. He's been cutting down to 135 since he was like 16, 17 years old. He's not going to be able to continue making that weight as easily when he's growing and getting more muscle as men do. As
Low key, he looks like Squidward when he's like really dried up. You know, some of those episodes when they like wash up on shore and they're like,
yeah.
he kind of looks like Squidward, like all dried out. Pause.
So Rosas before the fight, I think he's honestly the side. I think he's gonna probably win the first round, probably the first round or two. I don't know if he's gonna finish Ricky. I would doubt it. I don't think his grappling control is really good. I think this will be a lot of up and down. I think Turcios will escape, and Turcios makes you work, man. That's the one thing about this guy is he has really good cardio. Outside of the Zahabi fight, he has a really good work rate. In the high stand fight, the Natividad fight, I mean, he rallied big in round 3 to win those much needed rounds to win his decision there. So if it's that typical Tertios fight where they're up and down and they're trading in positions, I think that's going to gas Rosas out. And the second half of the fight may favor Ricky Tercios. So before the fight, I would say Rosas decision on the bets is the most enticing one, which you can get around, plus 225 on some books. But I would be looking for Tercios live here, definitely halfway through the fight, and then what's Tercios round 3 plus
Have,
2,000.
have we got into a bet that you made yet on any of these fights
Yeah,
so far?
I bet Moreno ITD
And
and
Ortega
and
no
Ortega
scorecards.
Ortega and Ortega sub and Ortega no
Okay,
scorecards. But
okay, okay.
yeah, I think Tercio I think 225 is okay, but I would be more inclined to play Tercios round 3 and then wait for that finger on the trigger for the live bet because
The live bet.
Tercios makes motherfuckers work, man. And
Hey man,
we just saw Rosas. He had 1 round of control versus Rodriguez, right? It wasn't even that hard of a round. He controlled him the entire time. Round 2, dead gassed, totally gassed out in that fight. So
let,
um,
let
go
me
ahead.
come back in because I didn't give it. So I'll be honest. So that first C-Raw fight that he had, or the Christian Rodriguez fight, obviously he gassed, but there is a difference, I will say, in like holding that body triangle. There's just something about when you're clenching that is sometimes not as tiring as actually when you're like holding a guy down or like top half guard or whatever, just other positions when you're kind of moving more instead of squeezing. But let's be honest, guys, the guy's never been this altitude elevation. And what were you when you were 18, 19? You were stupid, you were dumb. So he's probably not even respecting it. So I mean, Ricky, I probably trust Ricky's cardio at this elevation. So that round 3 bet is good. I understand why the action will come in on Ricky, because if he could dig underhooks at all, dude, and keep this guy off, but I don't know if he can, dude. I really don't.
Hmm, yeah. So that's going to move us along to the women's strawweight division. Yasmin Yarguri taking on Sam Hughes. Odds for this one: Yasmin Yarguri minus 530, Sam Hughes plus 405. A woman's fighter at 84%. What could
Yes,
go wrong? What could go wrong, Ozzy?
yes. I mean, interesting fight here. Obviously this girl got knocked out in her last fight. quickly, and she got dropped a few times. It was kind of like hit her, try to get up, hit her again, whatever. Obviously, I think that she's the much more dangerous fighter in this matchup, and it is, obviously there's a price shock when you look at it and you see that, but then you also have to remember that the girls that Sam Hughes is beating are definitely the lower tier, right? Like it's a Sam Hughes has been fighting in a low tier of the women. Now I'm not saying Denise Gomes, right? It was Denise Gomes, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying Denise Gomes is higher, but I am saying Yasmin Yaraguri is thought to be a lot higher. And with her skills, I do think that she would probably butcher a few of these girls up. But I mean, it has to be kind of Sam Hughes or pass. But I mean, Sam Hughes, she's shown proven cardio, ready. But like, look at the girls, dude. Estela
Are you
Nunes,
betting Sam Page, bro?
Elise,
Are you betting her?
Kaplan. No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
Mm. You can't
Not
be
betting on
wrong.
Sam
You
Hughes.
can't. I really doubt. I mean, sure, Sam Hughes is likely to lose, but I doubt we're going to be wrong betting her at plus 400. And I mean, if you look at Yaraguri's fight history, she was minus like 215 versus Lucindo. That was a 29-28 clear win for her there. She was minus 275 versus uh, that bum Nunes, got dropped, lost round one. Huge favorite over Gomez, got knocked out in round one. So I think there's kind of a pattern here with her being a big favorite and it not really living up to the hype. So I don't see why she just got knocked out in 20 seconds and she's an even bigger favorite in this fight. Now, Sam Hughes, much different fighter than Gomez, but Gomes, or excuse me, Hughes has been in the role of spoiler before. I mean, she's been the underdog in every single one of her UFC fights, and several of those fights she gritted out wins. The Amarin fight, the Nunes fight. She had adversity early on there, worked her way through it, and came out on top at the end because she has good cardio and she is just reliable to be there in round three. So I think if this fight hits round three, you got to be feeling live about Sam Hughes' chances. So when the fight's at distance, sure, Yaraguri is going to be the better striker of the two. She has pretty good boxing for a woman. And the thing is, though, with Yasmin, we don't know what she looks like on bottom. It's not like Hughes has good takedowns, but if for any reason Yaraguri ends on bottom, we have no idea what that's going to look like. And Sam Hughes in that Estela Nunes fight, she showed the ability to be able to pressure and to put up volume and to strike with her opponent. So when Nunes started slowing down a little bit in round two, you saw Sam pushing forward. You saw her throwing straight punches. She was making Estela work. And just because she was eating some straight punches on the way in, she wasn't scared. Sam Page is a fucking dog, man. She is totally in these fights. She's totally comfortable in the role playing the spoiler. And I'm totally comfortable laying a small bet on her at plus 400, man. Half unit bet. Don't overthink this shit. Not gonna give back my total winnings on Sam's last fight. She cashes a plus 250 dog there, but small bet. Hughes can't go wrong in my opinion. And hopefully she mixes in some takedowns, weaponizes her cardio, and I just don't think Yaraguri is gonna look minus 500 here. So I'm excited for this one. That's a good fight. Honestly, though, I think the UFC might regret this one because I think they're like, man, we should have given Yasmin an easier bounce back than Sam Page Hughes, who I think Sam's gonna do really well here. Moving on, last fight on the main card, lightweight division, Manuel Torres, Chris Duncan. Odds for this one, Torres minus 190, Duncan plus 165. This fight was a near pick'em for a while. And then we just saw a ton of action come in on Manuel Torres this past week, getting all the way to 65% for Torres here. My turn to start this one off as well. So Torres is obviously a nasty striker, man. He's been putting guys to sleep. That Nicholas Mota knockout, one of the best knockouts of the entire year. Step in elbow, underutilized strike, and he just fucking killed Nicholas Mota there. Um, like if you look at that fight, like Nicholas Mota is like he falls directly on his side. I mean, he looks like someone sleeping in bed. He was completely as unconscious as you get. But
Very, very creative, Martian.
Torres when was the last time we saw him outside of round one? I got to refresh my memory on this because it's a long fucking time ago. 2018.
Ask his wife. Ask his
Split
girlfriend.
split decision. He has been out of round one one time in 6 or 7 years, okay? When's the last time we saw him on bottom? A long time ago. He has 2 submission losses, a knee bar and a heel hook loss. So what I'm saying, guys, is we don't know how his grappling looks. We don't know how his cardio is, and we see this time and time again. And, me definitely, I think Ozzy a little bit, but not as much as me. I'm always looking to potentially bet against the guys with these, unknowns. How does their grappling look? How does their cardio look? I'm willing to take the plus money to bet against them, and I think Chris Duncan is undoubtedly the side here. He has shown the ability to implement a grappling game plan, multiple fights in a row. The Ashmuz fight, a little bit, and definitely the Omar Morales fight. He was just shooting a ton of takedowns.
Didn't you not believe that he was gonna grapple versus
I
Omar?
did not. I did not. I was wrong. That was a sharp
Interesting.
read by you. That was one of your best of all
Didn't
time.
you pick Omar? Didn't you pick Omar?
Yeah, I bet him. Yeah, fucking lost. Anyway,
Interesting. Interesting.
Um, anyway, getting back to Chris Duncan. We saw that fight against Charlie Campbell where he got lit up and almost knocked out. He's been training at ATT for almost 2 years. He's been training with Grant Dawson, and he clearly is working on his grappling and has shown that he's doing pretty well with it. So I think he's easily the side here. Gonna be laying a bet on him myself for 1 unit. Probably going to be taking some of that Chris Duncan round 2, round 3, which the odds somehow aren't up for yet. And maybe even some Chris Duncan decision, which is going to be a huge number, plus 7 or 8 to 1. But I'm not going to take it yet because apparently this Manuel Torres steam is showing no sign of slowing down. And with these Mexican cards, with the favorites winning last week, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more action continue to pour in on the favorites. So if you guys like some underdogs, you might be better off waiting and just seeing where the line moves this week. So what are your thoughts here?
You're the leader of Underdog Nation, huh?
No.
That's you. You're the dog catcher, fox catcher, Foxy. Um, yeah, I've been a
If
Chris
Sam
Duncan.
Hughes wins, I'm the fox catcher. That's for sure.
Okay. Um, Sam Hughes probably not gonna win.
Oh,
Uh,
probably. I mean, the plus 405 probably isn't going to win.
yeah, I don't think so. You think that isn't a win, which is good. That's what it's all about, dude. Honestly, with these underdogs, especially like the Sam Hughes tier, when it gets above like 325, you just got to convince yourself they're gonna win. Just convince yourself and walk it back. Anyway, uh, I've been a supporter of Chris Duncan, but I will say that, um, fuck. I mean, I think that he is very live to win, but he's also very live to be
Get
looking
killed.
good or pulling the fight back, yeah, and then get hit with a big strike. His cardio. Sometimes he just doesn't move and evade. He kind of just tries to stand his ground, right? Like a good Florida citizen. But he is not one yet. But he plays one during the day. Uh, how any good Florida citizen would do. So I'll pick Chris Duncan to win because I just feel that early he's gonna be keeping his hands high. Local Torres is gonna be trying to download information, and he's gonna get taken down, and I'm gonna be able to hedge out if I want to. But I don't think I would need to. I think that Local Torres, like a lot of times when gets up, he's gonna be using a lot of energy to get up. Like Chris Duncan's gonna be clinging onto him, riding him, pause, and trying to really hold him down and mat wrestle him. And I think it's gonna be successful early on.
I like it. I mean, yeah, obviously the guy can get killed in the first round, but I'm quite confident that if this fight gets out of the first round, Chris Duncan is going to be looking pretty good. So you're basically taking, less than 40% for him to make it out of the first round. I'm down to take some of that.
We're getting a better price than we did when we got him against Omar Morales.
Certainly. Um, funny moment I'll share with the listeners with
Oh,
some of our buddies here. Our boy Scrap Capper JT was trying to convince us not to bet Nicholas Mota. He was trying to. He did his best. We didn't listen. I didn't listen. And Gugabe, our man, predicted, he saw the
you're a man. You're a
exchange.
man.
He saw
You're a man.
he's your buddy too. Um
You're a man.
he
You're a
saw
man.
the exchange get wiped and he said Torres dead question mark. JT
Yeah.
responded, "Nope."
I
And
just
then
hate people like that. Yeah, I hate anybody who tries to tell the results of something that they don't even know. They just want to tell you that like something
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah,
They
you
don't
hate
even
that.
know shit. Shut
You
up.
hate that.
Be quiet.
Um, Just that simple nope, and we're like, wrong guy. But, all right, that was a fun little, anecdote there. Moving
That was
down
not
to
funny at all.
the bantamweight. You enjoyed it, come on. Christian Quinonez taking on Jauregui-Barcelos. Odds for this one have Barcelos -192, Quinonez +167.
Oh, it's my
Your
turn,
turn.
right? Yes, my turn.
Top
Yeah,
off.
interesting fight here. I really didn't see it coming. What's it called? Christian Quinones, like his fight, like his contender fight, I felt was like a bit under the radar, as well as a few of his performances. Even though I did back him against, I believe, the Taha guy, it was, and maybe the one of his other fights as well. He coming off a loss. As well as Jauregui-Barcelos, he's hit a little bit of a skid here at the bottom of the top 15. My angle on this fight though is I don't know why the decision line or the over is plus money, but I'm taking it, dude, because I feel that Barcelos sometimes his grappling either he gets the guys down too late in the round to maybe cut through them, or he's interested in pounding their face in, which he does do from time to time. But I feel Christian Quinones is a Mexican, gonna be tough to knock him out. And then on the ground, dude, he's not like that bad. I know he got rear naked choked. It looked a little bad, but I don't
Yeah,
think that
rock there
he's
too.
like, yeah, he got rocked first. So I don't think that he got guillotined first. I don't remember, dude. Um, he's at bottom mountain. He gave it the back. But I don't feel that his grappling is that bad, and I think that that result is being factored into this line, and I feel that GTD is very live here. So I'm going with that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about the over. I mean, I think it is probably being, undervalued, the over here, but I do think that I'm concerned about Barcelos getting hit early because skill wise, Barcelos is far far better than Quinones. But we are seeing Barcelos showing signs of age. 5-0 in the UFC to start his career. He's been 1-4 since then. Some unfortunate luck in some of those fights. But I mean, I think the guy's chin is falling off a little bit. Where that little punch versus Umar put him out. He
That
got
little punch.
yeah, it was like wasn't it like a glancing punch? He threw like a body kick and then like it was like
It was like
yeah,
the same thing. It was like the same thing that Armin knocked out Benny with.
yeah. No, but he didn't even have his foot planted. I remember Umar's like one foot wasn't even on the ground.
Omar's on roids, dude.
Anyway, um, Hi the Barcelos one was just speed, excuse me, the Phillips one was just speed. Phillips darted in
He
with a
didn't get knocked out by
combination. He
Phillips.
got dropped though,
He
dropped in
got
round
dropped.
one.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I rewatched that and Barcelos like it was just a flash knockdown because he got back up to his feet and he was clearly with it. He got back to work and he probably won the rest of that round. And that fight against Phillips was just really really close. I mean, I don't think he won that fight, but he was just a few moments away from winning. I thought he won the third round for sure, and outside of that knockdown in the first round, he did really good. So I still think he's a really quality fighter, but I think the chin is slipping a little bit. So I think your biggest exposure to the under is Quinones round one KO. So maybe take a little bit of that to offset. But
Dude, come on. We got to fade Quinones round 1 KO.
yeah, I mean, that would be
On.
bad. It would be bad, but, the guy does throw a lot of punches, man. That's one thing he does is he just spams punches, but, yeah, Barcelos, man, is the much more skilled fighter. He's the much better grappler. I think that if he, mixes in some takedowns, that should be a safe win. So, I'm looking at live bet Ione here. I just wanna see how he looks in the first couple of minutes and then, maybe look to live bet him. But the one thing about this fight, the cardio could be a concern here because Quinones has been in Mexico for a while. Barcelos just got there this week. Barcelos, Mendonca, Lacerda, and Dos Santos, all the Brazilians got there just 3 or 4 days ago. So that
Geniuses.
I saw one guy in Mexico, it's, Rodrigo del Campo. This reporter said that if you get there in between like 2 weeks and a few days, it's actually worse for you. You're actually better off getting there like as soon as possible
That doesn't
or
even make sense.
weeks ahead of time.
That
That's what he
that
said,
doesn't
bro.
even, that doesn't even make
You ever
sense.
been to Mexico City?
Does that make sense to you?
Bro, I trust Rodrigo del Campo, bro.
He's basically saying don't you might as well not come.
No,
that's
he was saying
that's
if you
basically what he said, dude. That's basically what he said.
no,
He's
no,
like,
no.
there's nothing that you can do. The only thing you can do is not come, dude.
No, no, that's not what he's saying. You're
That's
missing
what
you're
he
miss
said. He's like, yo, you gotta come here 3 weeks in advance. You gotta
No,
stay. You
he
gotta
said
stay.
2
You gotta
weeks.
stay. You gotta stay in my Airbnb for 3 weeks, dude, and get acclimated.
chill.
Fuck him. Yeah,
Don't be disrespecting him. Um,
yeah. He's a nobody. Spell his name.
n-
What's his
I'm telling
Twitter
no,
handle?
no, bro. His wife is the hottest woman in
And
MMA
what?
media. In MMA media, she's hotter than Amy Kaplan. Um, anyway, anyway,
Dude, that shit
um,
just doesn't make any sense. He's like,
bro,
if you
he's
don't
so.
come this day,
I
if
mean,
you don't come this day,
I
don't
think
come at all.
no, no, no. I think he's got something to it. I'm gonna look it. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna do some research in the
Yeah, look
meantime.
into it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He said,
Flyweight.
if you don't come 3 weeks, whatever, dude.
You didn't even fucking hear it. You didn't even fucking hear it. Anyway, um, flyweight division. Jesus Aguilar taking on Mateus Mendonça. Odds for this one have Mendonça minus 128, Aguilar plus 108. Uh, it's Aguilar. Plus money on Aguilar is good. He's worth a good money line bet. You know, 1.5 units, I think. Mendonça is just a bum, and I wouldn't lay juice on this guy versus anybody. So keep it short and sweet. Jesus is going to do it. He's Mexican. He's fighting. Mendonça has only been there for a few days. And I think honestly he might even be the better grappler and probably submits Mendonça here in the second or third. So, any thoughts for you here?
That's probably not gonna happen. But yeah, give me a little midget. This little midget, he's at a big reach and disadvantage than as like I forgot who or the Prado guy. He's at a big one as well. But Mendonca, he kind of just throws power shots. He throws like hooks. Like I feel like Jesus is gonna be able to get inside pretty easily. And grappling wise, I don't think that Mendonca can push a grappling pace. I think Jesus should be able to outlast him. He outlasted everybody. You know, he usually has he's had a few longer fights. Like his contender fight went longer. A few of those little Mexican fights that they have at like bars or clubs or something like that, like a little warehouse rave festival, have gone good for him. I like him as underdog. I bet him at like plus like 120, 120, 125. Anything better than plus 105. We ride with Christianity.
Yeah, and then one good thing think we got going for us here is Mendonça in his last fight tried immediately grappling versus Nate Maness. His takedowns failed. He started diving on legs. He was getting hit with punches. He kept going for the leg locks and he got knocked the fuck out. So if he tries to take down Jesus Aguilar, he's getting guillotined. So
And Jesus Aguilar, like he got those little limbs, dude. It's gonna be hard to catch
tiny
those
one. Yeah.
little arms, little legs. It's gonna be tiny, or
This
it's gonna
guy
be
is a shoot the box fraud.
tremendously.
He's not one of the real shoot the
Yeah,
box fighters.
yeah. Honestly, the biggest issue is this guy should not be at 125. So I'm fading him.
Boom. Speaking of guillotines at 125, next fight Edgar Chairez taking on Daniel Lacerda, a rematch, the much anticipated rematch.
This is a third fight.
Well, yeah, it got canceled the second time. Edgar Chairez minus 445, Lacerda plus 345. Your turn to start this one off.
Damn, I thought they got locked in the cage the third time or the
No,
second
I got
time.
canceled like the day of or the day before.
What happened, Lacerda? What happened?
Yeah, I think Lacerda pulled out.
Okay. I mean, it's
Medical
always
issue.
fate. It's always fate Lacerda, dude. This fight is mean. I feel that he's gonna get submitted though. That's what I got.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, we saw the first fight, the first few minutes, Lacerda wasn't doing his usual, let me come out and spam strikes at you. He attempted to take down. He hit the takedown. We saw Chairez go guard for a little bit. Then when they got back up on the feet, Lacerda attempted a bad takedown, stuck his neck out there, got caught. The referee stopped it early, but I mean, he was probably getting submitted anyway. So honestly, I think that was a bad approach from Lacerda in his last fight. I mean, the guy is technically a mess. His cardio sucks. You might as well at least try to go balls to the wall, throw everything out there, and try to make a knockout happen in round one because he's certainly not winning the fight as it goes later either. He just doesn't have the IQ to do that. So um, I think Chairez is probably going to find a submission in similar fashion. Honestly, it would be hilarious if it just ended the exact same way, just a guillotine. Um, but I
I'm
mean, even
thinking
looking at
triangle. I'm thinking triangle choke.
really,
I
even
don't know.
I mean,
It may not be a normal triangle, but some kind of triangle.
the odds aren't even out for this one yet. But our boy Chad shouted out the angle of maybe playing
I said
uh
no more shout outs for Chad on this podcast.
You already mentioned him first.
All right, and now
Chairez round three submission. Just hope
wow,
Lacerda can
creative one
survive.
by him. Creative.
No, I agree. I agree. Next fight, lightweight division. Claudio Puelles taking on Fares Ziam. Odds for this one have Ziam minus 210, Puelles plus 180. I think Ziem is fine at this price. I think he's probably a good wager. I would honestly not really dispute putting him closer to minus 300 here for Ziem. So I think Ziem is going to be a bet for me, just waiting to see where the price goes. And I just think it's pretty simple, man. He's clearly the much better mixed martial artist out of the two. Puelis is a little bit of a one trick pony with his knee bars. And I think just the guy's no good outside that. He has like a body kick, he goes for a single leg, and then he goes for the knee bar. You kind of know what you're getting from Puelis. But Ziem, on the other hand, is just a much more diverse martial artist. I think the guy's clearly getting better. We saw him get to the UFC when he's only, I think, 23. He's improving fight to fight, getting much better. He's comfortable winning the late rounds, going to a decision. And I just think he's the much better fighter. So pretty simple. 210, I think it is good, and I would cap him closer to 300 here. It's probably going to be a decision, but I think this instead of maybe
There
getting
you
cute with paying the over 2.5, I think you're better off just taking ZM because if Puelis, finds a way to quit in the second or third round like he did versus Hooker, would that really shock anybody? So, uh, a ZM money line's fine here.
Yeah, so I think the one thing I want to point out about these guys is, in my opinion, both of their gas tanks are a little suspect. Ziam, when he fought, I think it was Vander. How do you pronounce his last name? Vandermini Luigi.
Vendramini,
When he,
yeah,
yeah, when he fought him,
he
he was
almost
a
got
little
knocked out.
suspect late. Yeah, he's a little suspect late with just circling around, but he's good. He's kind of like similar to Hooker. Like he's pretty agile, moving around. He's traditionally a kickboxer. Might have done some glory stuff. I don't know. They say that about everybody nowadays. But kickboxer has he could throw straight punches, but he's patient as well. And in his last fight, he did show a big improvement, or in the Figlac fight, showed a lot of improvement in his wrestling. Was able to counter there and stuff like that. So should be able to stay safe here. I think earlier Puelles, Puelles will have, a few tricks up his sleeve, I'm sure. But even on the feet, he's traditionally Martian like a body kick guy, right? Straight left jab, cross, left body kick. He doesn't have a big array of strikes when he goes to the clinch. It's not like he's looking to bust you up very much, or put a lot of work in there. So I'm very low on him overall, even though he is the Prince of Peru, and I fuck with Peru. But we're gonna leave that into the hands of what's his name? What's the guy's name that need the guy in the nuts? Daniel Marcos. We'll leave it in his hands, and I'll
Mhm.
pick Ziam by 3-round decision. And I like the over, and that goes the distance here. Maybe look at some like significant strike props, like, or same name parlays, right? Ziam most
Mm.
significant strikes. Maybe this guy get a takedown and Ziam money line, some shit like that.
Now
Just to
you're
mix
getting
it up.
into it. Now you're getting
Yeah,
into it.
right. Yeah,
Also they got Peru's got Luis Puello, that guy from the Contender Series. He had like a
he's
body
fighting
shot
soon. I
knockout.
think.
He's
I think
fighting
he's fighting soon.
Fernando Padilla coming up in a month. Um,
Hold on. What's the guy's name? It doesn't matter what it is.
yeah, it's Puello, P-A-G-U-E-L-O.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I don't remember who he fought.
There's another one too. They have one more bull too, Peru. I don't it's escaping me who it is right now. But
Michael Morales. Michael Morales. He's Peru,
no,
right?
no,
Isn't
he's
he?
Ecuadorian.
Ecuador. Yes, he is. Yeah.
But there's another bull.
Those,
Find that out for me, Jamie.
those are my two South American connections: Ecuador and Peru. And I will be in Costa Rica next week. Follow anybody who's down in that Tamarindo area. Let me know. Be there for a wedding. I know. Offshore bookies. You want to meet me? Let me know.
Hmm, there you go.
Tony, where
So
you at? Rest in peace,
RIP,
bro.
RIP, yep. Uh, we're done with that fight. We're moving on to the flyweight division here. Luis Rodriguez taking on Denise-Bondar. Odds for this one have Luis minus 122, Bondar plus 102. Luis making his UFC debut. Give it to me straight. Did you watch these Luis Rodriguez fights?
Man, I like Luis Rudge. I thought I got robbed. I remember this so clearly when Laura Santos, or Laura, what's her name? Was that her
Procopio?
name? No. What's her announcer's name? Laura
Sanko?
Sanko. I said Santos. I had Santos on the brain. Sanko. Yeah, when Laura Sanko was reading those scorecards, that was the first scorecard she ever read. And I'm still convinced to this day that she read them wrong. But this fight, Martian, another one, dude. I like the over, bro. I like the over that goes the distance in this fight. I feel like I might get burned with it late, so I'm gonna resist jumping in, and I'm gonna try to get really the best price. But how I see it is Bondar, he is a little frenetic. I will say that he is a little frenetic, and I think it's on his side of either forcing an early finish or messing up and maybe tiring himself out to where Lewis comes on late, right? Yeah, Lewis comes on late. But I feel both guys are well rounded. I feel Lewis is okay enough to be able to counter some of Bondar early and then be able to win it late. But I do feel the pick and price is mostly fair. But I am a little surprised that Lewis by decision is priced at like a worse number than like that Bondar is most likely. Like that's the most likely perm. And I think Lewis by decision is the most likely permutation. So what do you think about that? The over and the fact that I'm going to pick Lewis or Rodriguez to win the fight.
Um, I'll get to that in one sec, but I was doing some Peru research. Uh, Gaston Bolaños, Peruvian, that's bad. And then some other guy, Kevin Boras, the guy who just got knocked out by no, he didn't. He got knocked out. He lost a decision to Josh Van. Anyway, um, so you got. I think the over. It's fine. I think I would definitely side with the over with any bet here. Man, Luis, I don't think he's any good. But neither is Bondar. And the thing about Bondar is, I think his biggest advantage in this fight would be grappling. But I don't even think this guy's a reliable grappler. I mean, Carlos Hernandez. We've seen him struggle with grapplers before. We've seen his boxing look good before. Denise Bondar boxed with him for the majority of the fight. 9.5 minutes into the fight, finally shot a takedown, got the takedown, didn't get any control with it. So I just think that Bondar doesn't really fight optimally. I don't think this guy is atrocious, but I mean, he's never won a fight in the UFC. He got finished by fucking Malcolm Gordon. He got knocked out so unconscious in his last fight versus Hernandez. Hasn't won a fight in, I think, 3.5 years.
That was some brain damage.
Yeah.
No, those are a lot of shots he got hit with
Yeah,
late.
that was
Those are a
bad.
lot of shots.
Um, and Luis, man, I don't know. I don't think this guy is very good at all. But what I noticed about his striking is he's not like a consistent offense kind of guy. He's like a wait and then explode kind of guy. So I don't think he's gonna be putting a beating on Bondar here. I think Bondar could probably take some damage when he's standing. So yeah, it should go over. I think it's gonna be a real sloppy fight. Um, I'll pick Luis just because it's in Mexico, and I think this is kind of a setup fight for him. But man, this is a low level sloppy fight, and I don't have a confident read on it. Probably my least confident fight in terms of betting. So
I mean, you didn't give a single pick.
you keep saying that, bro. I bet
I'm talking
I
about
bet
this fight. You're saying
yeah, yeah.
you're not confident, but you didn't even give a pick that you're not confident about.
I said Luis will win. Luis decision. I agree with you.
You're
Um,
already you didn't say that before.
I said I'll pick Luis, and I think it goes over. So you
Well,
can fucking put two and two together.
you're disagreeing with me.
Flyweight division. Victor Altamirano, Felipe Dos Santos. Odds for this one minus 290 Santos. Altamirano plus 245. So I'm gonna do something where you hate, and I'm gonna endorse a favorite, but I'm not gonna bet him because minus 290 on is a little too much for Dos Santos. But I think he's pretty safe in this fight, and I think it comes down to one thing. One thing. In Mexico, they call it boxeo, right? Boxeo, boxing. Felipe Dos Santos, much better boxer. And Altamirano's defense on the feet in terms of punches is virtually non-existent. He kind of just leans away from punches. He has like a karate type of stance where
He's the
he's like
best, dude.
he's
He's the
bladed, he's
best.
throwing kicks, but I mean, he leans away from punches and he just does not react well to them. And I think that one thing about Santos, I was rewatching his fight against Cotman. He very good boxing, good striking overall, but he has good long extended combinations. So where I think he's gonna like lead in with the double jab, get Altamirano leaning back, and then he's gonna follow with the right hand that's gonna be snapping his head back. And I just think that Dos Santos is going to outbox him for sure. And Altamirano might stay competitive with his kicks, but Dos Santos is a skilled kicker as well. And in terms of grappling in this fight, um, I could see either guy hitting takedowns. Altamirano hit a lot of takedowns versus Salvador, but he didn't keep his takedowns. His top position is not existent, and Dos Santos just looks really hard to hold down. So I think if Altamirano lands a takedown, he's not going to keep him down. Dos Santos is going to pop right back up to his feet. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked by a KO here for Dos Santos. KO is the odds only. Oh, it's 540 on Unibet. That's not bad.
He
Um,
is not knocking Victor out, bro. Come on, be
Yeah,
real.
I eventually think it yeah, I don't think it'll come to fruition, but I think at some point Victor is gonna be hurt real bad in this fight. And honestly, Santos is probably safe at 290, man. I had no interest in the dog here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Victor. It's always been Victor. He had a little, honestly, look back at his fights, dude. The Carlos Hernandez fight easily could have gone to Victor, and a Tim Kennedy fight or a Tim Elliott fight, dude. I mean, honestly, it was closer than people make it out to
Mm,
be.
come
But
on.
Tim Elliott was just crotch sniffing like always, and Tim Elliott is a tough fighter, though. He is very
He's
tough.
he's very good.
He's very, very tough, and he's a foil to Victor. But you know who's not a foil? This Brazilian. And this Brazilian, he's gonna get chopped up. All right, Victor, round three knockout, probably starts off with a body kick, and then he's just gonna pour it on him. I don't know how. That's my, you know, prediction for how he's gonna win. But the guy's full of surprises, and he's still growing. Even at 33 in the flyweight division, he's getting this fight at altitude. He's
He's
getting this fight.
33?
He's born in Mexico City, bro. He's born in Mexico. He just had his birthday, Martian. Be at the
Holy
like
shit.
say happy birthday. He's born in Mexico City, dude. This is a homecoming fight. He's gonna put the beats on Felipe Dos Santos, dude. It's gonna be
Honestly,
easy.
I wouldn't be shocked if he was 23 instead. That's surprising to me.
He looks
Um,
great, dude, and he's not getting finished, dude. He's not getting knocked out by Felipe Dos Santos.
no, I think he might. Well, um, like I said, this is a lose-lose situation for me because if Dos Santos won, wow, a minus 301, and I didn't even bet it. And then if Altamirano wins, wow, I endorsed a minus 300. Yeah, it's happened to me time and time again. Gilbert Urbina being the most recent example. Um,
Yikes!
One thing though
Yikes!
I don't like for Santos here is same thing I've been saying, guys. He got there this week. Altamirano's been training at altitude, and
He
Altamirano
was born in Mexico
he was born
City.
in altitude. But that's
This
the thing.
guy just adopted.
Altamirano,
He didn't even adopt it. This
his
this Felipe Dos Santos guy. He didn't
two
even
things
adopt
though.
it.
Two things. Altamirano's cardio is really good, but so was Dos Santos. Man, he showed up on a week's notice versus Manel Kopp and had an absolute barn burner, and then won the third round of that fight. So I think his cardio is real good too. So
Mm.
last fight on the card, first fight on the card, Muhammad Naimov taking on Eric Silva. Odds for this one with Naimov minus 575, Silva coming back plus 425. Your turn to start this one off for the last fight.
Only thing that I will say is that Eric Silva's cardio looked really bad in his other fight. It looked like it was like a 50-50 fight after 2 rounds, and in the third round, he not only did he just not doing anything, he looked uninterested in doing anything. It's like he was like scared to even push to try to find out where his gas tank was. But Naimov, I've never been a fan. He throws better strikes than Eric Silva, so I could see these guys just going at it on the feet a little bit, and what's it called? Yeah, going at it on the feet a little bit, and a big shot by Naimov catches him if Eric Silva slows. But I could see Eric Silva trying to get a takedown, laying on him, something like that. But I'll probably bet on Eric Silva, uh, especially now it's over 3-1. But I'm not
4 to 1.
incredibly confident. 4-1, excuse me. But I'm not incredibly confident that he will win.
You're not incredibly confident that a plus 400 will win. That's
Or
that's
even be like look like value, because like his on the fee he is pretty harmless.
yeah. Surprisingly, I think I might have looked into this fight the most out of them all. And Silva, I bet him plus 400 earlier today. He immediately went to plus 425. I mean, within 15 minutes. And I said that earlier. Is this card is probably going to be like a juice parlay heavy card. So some of these big dogs might just keep going up. But I mean, Muhammad Naimov has been almost a 3-1 dog in both of his fights so far. Now he did win them both, but now he's going from 25% in his past 2 fights to now 86% over Silva. And Silva's no good, man. He's 36 years old. He's a grappler who has been mostly submitting bums. And then his debut fight against TJ Brown, he didn't look good. He got out grappled there. His striking didn't look great. And now that was 2 years ago. So he's now 36, and I'm not expecting many improvements from Silva. But even that version of Silva default TJ Brown, I think is live here at plus 425 because Naimov, his takedown defense isn't isn't bad, but he has shown some susceptibility to being taken down and maybe held against the cage here. Naimov, though, can also land his own takedowns. He also out-grappled Wood for a lot of stretches in that fight. He does have some power in his punches, has pretty powerful spinning kicks. I think Silva should be very wary of the spinning kicks here. But, I mean, Naimov, yeah, he's going to win, but the odds are slightly off. So small bet on Silva, half unit. Hopefully one of either Silva or Sam Hughes can look value. I don't care if they win. I don't care if they win at all. I need them to look value because value is the only thing that matters. Bet MMA points in 2024, they don't matter. Value matters. So that'll conclude it. 13 fights. I think we flew through this one pretty quickly, actually. And that's going to bring
We
us
definitely
to
did not. We
no,
definitely did
no,
not.
we did, bro. I think we went actually, I don't know. We're just having fun. We're flying through them.
You see what I tell you about not saying stuff that you don't know the answer to?
No, I mean, I think for 13 fights, we actually got through this one quicker than usual. So, um,
Okay.
we're clocking in with the FMK segment. I got 3 bets for you right off the bat. 3
Okay.
bets that I know are gonna rack your brain. First one, Barcelos Quinonez over 2.5 plus 135. Okay.
Oof.
Second one, Christopher Duncan plus 165.
Oh Lord.
Last but not least, Victor Altamirano plus 245.
Wow. Damn. All right. Okay. All right. That's fine. So I'm gonna fuck Duncan, that dumb Scottish, you know, dumb Scott. I don't what's the derogatory, I don't even know something bad to say about
Wanker.
Scotland. No. So I'm gonna take him, that plus 160. That's like the opener price. I like that when it was the opener there. So I think right now it's definitely yeah, damn. I was not expecting it to get back there. I'm gonna kill I'm gonna have to kill my boy Victor Altamirano, unfortunately. And then I'm
Mm,
fucking that over 2.5 in the or I'm
you're
marrying,
marrying.
excuse me. The over 2.5 in the Rowney-Barcelos fight. That's gonna hit, dude. I guarantee it. Okay, Martian. I'm
I like
coming
it.
back at you. I'm coming back at you, you little moron. All
Hit me
right.
with it.
Damn, what happened with the Jesus Aguilar fight?
What about it?
Wow. Dude, it
It's
got hit
all.
hard, dude. It got hit hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
Aguilar. Yeah, he got bet.
Did that happen just while we were recording? Damn.
No, no, earlier today, I think.
Yeah, I did put a free pick out of me adding to my stake, but it wasn't that. I know, ha ha ha. I'm not that egotistical. Um, all right, Martian. I'm gonna give you Yair Rodriguez minus 146 favorite. I'm gonna give you uh Jesus Aguilar at plus 110. All right, that's 20 cents better than you had. And then I'm gonna give you the goes the distance in the over 2.5, excuse me, in the Claudio Puelles and Puelles-Ziam fight minus 135.
Mm,
FMK, FMK, FMK.
okay.
Fuck Mary Kill. Fuck Mary Kill.
I gotta go with um killing Yair.
Yeah.
Uh can't do that. Marrying Jesus. Always want to marry Jesus.
Yes.
Don't want to fuck Jesus. And then you gotta
Yes.
fuck the over 2.5. Because I think that it will stretch over 2.5. I think it's more likely than the odds indicate. But I think Ziam is the best bet of that fight.
Love it.
That'll do it. That will indeed do it. We got an amazing fight night from the UFC Apex next week. I'm sure everyone's looking forward to that one. Rosenstrike versus Gagiev. Wow. Give us one pick for Bellator. One and only.
Yoel Romero, tried
Yep.
and true, and I always add in that round 3 sprinkle.
Plus money on Yoel Romero. Easy click. I'm with that. And yeah, that'll do it, everyone. Enjoy UFC Mexico. Enjoy PFL versus Bellator. and we will be back next week. So have a good week. Hope you all win some bets. We'll see you next week. Peace out, everyone.